Hello, welcome to Granada Reports. We are live with the latest across the northwest.
Hello there, good to have you with us. Coming up on the programme.
Accused of shooting Ellie Edwards with a submachine gun on Christmas Eve. Connor Chapman replies no when asked if he murdered her and tells the jury he was wrapping presents at home.
The drug Sean thinks could transform his mental health is made from magic mushrooms. It's available abroad, so should more be done to offer it here?
If you're in this country, you're of a low income and you don't have a passport, you have to get what you're given and you have to make do.
A hero's welcome for Yasmin at school, a gold medal winner at the Special Olympics at just 15.
The return of the historic mystery plays where communities bring some iconic stories to life.
We'll be live from Lancashire's largest live music festival as Lytham gears up to welcome over 100,000 visitors in 1 week as Lytham Festival gets underway.
And for Lytham Festival as a whole, it's not looking too bad over the next few days. Glorious sunshine for George Ezra, maybe a little soggy for Sting. Full forecast for the whole region a little later on.
First tonight, the man accused of murdering Ellie Edwards outside a pub in Wirral told the jury he was watching a video on wrapping Christmas presents on the night of the shooting.
Ellie, a beautician from Wallasey Village, was not the intended target when she was shot 3 times with a submachine gun last Christmas Eve.
Connor Chapman, who's 23 and a father of 2, said he'd been Christmas shopping that day and was at home all evening.
Our Merseyside correspondent Andy Bonner is at Liverpool Crown Court for us now. Andy.
Yes, Elaine, rather than being the gunman outside the Lighthouse pub, as the prosecution claims, Connor Chapman said today that he was at home wrapping presents last Christmas Eve. On his second day giving evidence at his trial, the 23-year-old told his barrister that he'd spent the day shopping and then spent the evening watching a YouTube video about how to wrap presents, having a drink and chilling. He said he didn't leave the house and his girlfriend and baby were upstairs at the time of the shooting. Now, the court heard that he was one of a number of people who'd been using the stolen car which was used in the murder. He said a man he'd known for about 6 months arranged for the car key to be collected from him during the evening. He said he didn't know what the car was being used for. Mark Rind, KC, asked the defendant directly, "Did you murder Ellie Edwards, Mr. Chapman?" "No," he said. "Did you shoot all those rounds at the smokers outside the Lighthouse pub at 10 to midnight on Christmas Eve?" "No," he replied.
Chapman admits he was involved with burning out that stolen car.
Yeah, he does, yeah. He told the jury that he later became aware that the Mercedes was linked to the shooting and realised that he could be linked to the car. He said a week after the shooting, he found the person who'd collected the key, one of a number of people he refused to name in court. The defendant said the car had been involved in a murder. "I don't think it takes a criminal to understand. The normal process would be you would just burn the car, wouldn't you?" "What did you decide to do?" asked his barrister. He replied, "I decided to locate the person, locate the car and get it burned." Now, the court heard that the defendant wrote a Facebook post 4 days after the shooting calling for calm. Under cross-examination, he said he was trying to mediate but denied he was a person of influence on his estate. The jury heard he spoke to a police officer about the shooting after his arrest, commenting, "Some people are ruthless and there's a time and a place for that." Asked today if it would be all right if Ellie had been murdered in November, he replied no, it would have made no difference. Connor Chapman of Horton Road in Woodchurch denies murder and 7 other charges. The case here continues tomorrow.
Andy in Liverpool, thank you.
Next tonight, a North West MPs accused the government of institutional cruelty and failing to ease restrictions on a drug that could help those with serious mental health conditions.
Psilocybin is found in magic mushrooms, and scientists say it could be a major breakthrough in treating conditions like PTSD and depression.
But there are warnings tonight that current legislation is hindering medical research and leaving those desperate with nowhere to turn. Our political correspondent Lytham McNally has this special report.
It's what's kept me as sane as possible in all of the time that I've been waiting for appointments. I'm in pain and I want the pain to go away.
Sean Jameson's sculptures are his livelihood and his lifeline. The former caterer is living with stress-induced seizures, depression and anxiety, mental health conditions that have proved resistant to treatment.
With access to mental health in the NHS, it can feel a lot of the time like you're out of options. That just cuts out so many things, accessibility, like independence, jobs that I can't do. So I went back to work too early just to get my independence back, moved back into my own flat, and then suffered a breakdown and tried to take my own life. So from 2010, I've just been in crisis.
But there is a medicine Sean feels could be a major turning point in his treatment. Psilocybin is based on an extract from magic mushrooms, and recent studies have shown promising results as a treatment for mental health conditions like depression, addiction, anxiety and PTSD. It's already being prescribed in Australia and parts of the USA, but since misuse could be potentially harmful, experts say more research is needed to fully explore its potential. The problem is that research can be really hard to do here in the UK because of something called the misuse of drugs regulations. While substances like heroin, cocaine and ketamine are listed under Schedule 2 and can be freely used in medical research, psilocybin is in the far stricter Schedule 1. That means you need a special Home Office licence to carry out any scientific work. It costs more than £3,000 to apply, can delay any studies by many months, and could mean scientists have to spend thousands more on things like extra security so their lab complies with the terms of the licence.
It is a huge problem because it hinders research. I talked to one academic who had a brilliant idea for a study with psilocybin, and because of the bureaucracy and the costs of getting a controlled drugs licence, she never did this.
Jo Neal has 40 years' experience in drug discovery and says she's never seen a compound with as much potential as psilocybin.
The current treatment for depression, anxiety, the current antidepressants, the selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, which probably work for about a third of people. So we badly need an alternative, and psilocybin provides that alternative. This will heal people and it will transform people's lives, save their lives.
Sean has had the chance to try psilocybin legally overseas, but feels baffled that most UK patients don't have that option.
My therapist actually said markedly she could notice a difference in my demeanour, the way that I was speaking from one fortnight to another. It's unfair, it's very pay to play. If you can afford to go abroad, if you have a passport, you can do absolutely anything you want, anything. But if you're in this country, you're of a low income and you don't have a passport, you have to get what you're given and you have to make do.
It's a frustration shared by the MP for Warrington North, herself living with post-traumatic stress disorder.
It can feel really isolating and really lonely, and like people don't care and you're going through this horrible thing without that support. And so the government are kind of feeding into that by just not taking this issue as seriously as they should.
You've been urging the government to reschedule psilocybin. Why do you think it hasn't happened?
I think it's cowardice more than anything, and I think it has to be read in the context of the war on drugs and the failures there. This is a decision that is inexplicably sat with the Home Office, despite the fact that this is a health matter. And the Home Office shouldn't be standing in the way of health treatments that could help people to manage their mental health and in some cases potentially even be cured of conditions that they thought they would have to live with forever.
Back in Manchester, that's a hope Sean is holding on to.
People's lives are at stake if the government doesn't lose this barrier. It's as simple as that. And this isn't to say that psilocybin would work for absolutely everybody. Not everything works for everybody, but the way that the government have things at the moment is a one-size-fits-all medical system, which doesn't fit all.
Sean wants to see that change as soon as possible, so that anyone struggling with current treatments gets the chance to reshape their life. Lytham McNally, ITV News.
Well, we can cross live to Leisha in Westminster now. Has the government responded, Leisha?
Well, not yet is the short answer to that, I'm afraid, Mike. I did approach the Home Office with the concerns raised in that report and asked them if they were looking at plans to reschedule psilocybin so that domestic medical research could be ramped up here in the UK. And so far, I haven't heard back from them on that. We did give them a 5 o'clock deadline. But in a debate about drugs classifications inside the House of Commons, a Home Office minister has previously said that the government is looking at ways to remove barriers to legitimate research across all substances, not just focusing on individual drugs, though they added that this needed to be balanced with a firm focus on the need to tackle drugs misuse, which they say can cause such harm across society. So not yet the go-ahead that many in the scientific community may have been hoping for today, but you can be sure they'll be keeping a very close eye, as of course will the many people like Sean who hope that psilocybin will one day form an effective part of their mental health.
OK, Leisha in Westminster, thank you very much.
More of the day's news now, and residents in Lancashire who are furious over sewage leaks into the sea will hold a public meeting later. The leak was caused when a pipe near Fleetwood was damaged in a storm earlier this month. United Utilities say engineers are working 24/7 on repairs. We'll bring you more on that meeting in tomorrow's Granada Reports.
Muslims around the region are celebrating the festival of Eid. Large crowds gathered for morning prayers in Liverpool's Sefton Park. Celebrations have taken place there all day. There was also an Eid in the Park event at Bruntwood Park in Cheadle and in Manchester's Platfields Park.
Yes, great pictures there. Happy Eid. And here's what's coming up on the ITV News with Mary in a few minutes.
Coming up in the programme, Britain's biggest water firm could be on the brink of collapse. The government says it's prepared for a range of scenarios, including taking control of Thames Water, with it billions in debt. A critical risk to students and staff. The new report outlining the dangers thousands face being taught in unsafe buildings. Fury in Paris as a teenager is shot dead by a police officer. And Kate Garraway, MBE, the Good Morning Britain presenter, honoured as her husband watches on. Well, do join me for those stories and more at 6:30.
Now then, you know summer is here when the Fylde Coast gets festival ready, and Lancashire's very own Lytham Festival starts tonight.
Yes, two lads from Lytham set it up back in 2010, and what began as a one-day event and a bit of a picnic on the green next to the windmill has turned into a 5-day event with international superstars like Sting heading there as we speak.
Live now to our entertainment correspondent Caroline Whitmore, who spent the day in Lytham. How's it looking, Cal?
Well, do you know what, Mike? It's actually cleared up now. It's actually quite bright, but it has been chucking it down all afternoon. Now, I am here on Lytham Green with the famous windmill behind me there, as you can see, as Lytham gears up for Lancashire's largest live music festival. Of course, Lytham Festival. Now, take a look at the stage. Look at it there in all its glory. In about 5 minutes' time, the fun-loving criminals are going to take to the stage and officially open this year's Lytham Festival. Of course, it's an annual event and it's on for 5 nights until Sunday. Now, the fun-loving criminals are actually supporting Jamiroquai, who's on at about 9 o'clock this evening in front of 20,000 fans. And there's going to be approximately, well, over 100,000 people heading to Lytham from now until Sunday. So Lytham's going to be pretty busy, everybody, and it's because of this man here. So, Peter Taylor, you are the co-founder of Lytham Festival, of course, with Dan Cook. Do you pinch yourself every year at what you have created?
Yeah, I think from the small beginnings when it was just a few thousand people with a picnic and a little stage up the other end by the windmill, I think, we can never believe it. And yeah, I don't think if anybody said, oh, you're going to create a festival for 100,000 people, we'd have been like, yes, of course. Yeah. But yeah, it's here and Yeah, I mean, every year we really, we're grateful because this is in the centre of Lytham. We're like facing everybody's houses across the road, and we're really grateful of the support we get from the community as well. And I don't think we could do it without that. And we're local as well, so we kind of get away with it because we're local.
I love that. And what changes have you made this year? Because obviously you've been here for like 13 years, haven't you?
Yeah, so we changed our VIP platform. We got rid of that. We've made a more festival vibe in the garden. We created some secret bars around the windmill. But we've really upgraded our accessibility, facilities for our customers. We've raised all our platforms up so people can see above the crowds. We've kind of worked really hard. We've got a welfare team on site that look after people that just need a bit of time to chill out away from the festival, or a bit of time to just have 5 minutes out. And, we've got people around in the crowd like trying to identify that. So we're trying to be a festival really for everybody. The acts show that. I mean, we're nothing to no man, I always say, because we're just like something different every day. So we like this to be your taster festival. That's what I always say. Come here.
Well, enjoy. We've got Lionel Richie on tomorrow and Saturday night, isn't it?
That's right,
My
Lionel.
goodness. Enjoy the festival. Thank you, Peter. He's done all right, hasn't he? Done all right. And as if by magic, here is Dan Whiston and Hayley Tamadon.
Hello.
I'll give you your cheer.
Oh,
no one's whooping.
Thank you.
You both are local. You literally live a stone's throw in Blackpool. It's great for the town, isn't it, of Lytham?
Oh, it's amazing, honestly. We've been buzzing all day. We've been presenting our first radio show with Coastal Radio, DAB, all day today. And it's been amazing, hasn't it?
Absolutely incredible. I mean, just for us to be here is brilliant. We love Lytham Festival. But to actually present our radio show live from Lytham Festival today has been absolutely amazing. And the lineup this year, oh my God, it's absolutely incredible.
So
and do you know what I love about you two? Sorry, I was just listening to Hayley. I was forgetting the question. No, because you two, they're always dancing on TikTok. So I guess tonight, to Jamiroquai, you're going to be, throwing some shapes.
We can't wait. We can't wait.
We've had a few ideas, haven't we?
And we've also had a few drinks. And we will be, that's for sure. In about half an hour, straight to that bar, Jamiroquai. Got about TikTok videos all over it tomorrow.
Look, they wanted to get me doing one, and I was like, live.
Yes.
No.
Watch this space. She's doing it tonight.
Yes, I'm doing it tonight. But Lionel Richie on Saturday. We've got George Ezra tomorrow night. Like you say.
Oh my word. Oh, come on.
Honestly,
George Ezra.
My little nephew, he's only 5, but he's coming for George Ezra tomorrow night. He's so excited. And also Sting on Friday. It's like it just builds, gets better and better all week. So we're so excited to be here. We're here all week doing our radio show. And the festival just gets better and better every day. So come down. If you haven't got a ticket, I suggest you buy a ticket, come down and join us.
Look at Dan, it's like he's got shares in it. I love it. Listen, it's so nice to catch up with you. It is literally, isn't it, 5 fantastic days of fun on the Fylde Coast.
See what you did?
I always get that wrong. It is Fylde,
Fun on the
Fylde
Coast.
Fun on the Fylde Coast. But yes, fun on the Fylde Coast, and back to you.
Hey, Cal, we spotted 2 beers just as you started your fantastic live, telling us all about it. Whose are those beers? Is that a sneaky one?
Do you know what? They're not my beers. Look, that isn't my beer. I've actually got water in a can. Water in a can. Whose beers are them? I think they moved as soon as he saw me with a big camera and a microphone.
Have a great time, pal.
Because he saw us. Elaine is coming on Friday, aren't you, Elaine, to Sting?
Yeah, I'm hoping it's going to stay dry. Thanks, Cal. I'm there to see Sting.
Yeah, you're very excited about it as well, aren't you? OK. Next to a hero's return for a member of Great Britain's Special Olympics team. 15-year-old Yasmin Booth won a gold medal in golf at the Games in Berlin.
Yes, that's no mean feat, and today she's returned to her school in Rochdale to celebrate with all her classmates. Our correspondent Chris Hall was there too.
She is the most reluctant class hero ever. When Yasmin Booth is asked about her golden moment, she's almost lost for words.
Happy. Amazing.
This isn't just shyness. Yasmin has a learning disability with very limited concentration, but with club in hand, she comes alive.
Who else plays golf?
My grandpa and grandma.
You've played against them?
Yeah.
Who's the best? You, your grandma, or your granddad?
Grandpa.
Her humility has meant her talent has often been hidden, even from her classmates.
I sit in the same table as her. She never really talks about golf, really. I never knew she could play.
I mean, I played a little bit of golf, but now I want to get better and I want to play it.
At first, when she was saying how she played golf, I didn't expect that she'd be in the Olympics, but it was just really good.
Yasmin doesn't like being centre of attention, but she's been working as part of the sports leadership programme, so that she is a role model for other young people who have special educational needs.
Yasmin is the third Olympic champion from Crompton House School after sailor Stuart Bithell and cyclist Matt Walls. She's now been invited to the Special Winter Olympics as a skier.
Are you going to do it?
No.
But who's a really good skier?
Me.
That competitive spirit shone through in Berlin and could bring more glory for this modest medalist. Chris Hall, ITV News, Oldham.
Yeah, well done, Yasmin, and to all of our medal winners at the Special Olympics in Germany.
Absolutely. Next to one of our oldest traditions in our region's cultural calendar, the Mystery Plays held every 5 years in Chester.
Yes, every single person who auditioned got a role in the plays this year, and many were inspired to have a go in the wake of the pandemic.
Yes, so bet the nerves are starting as they begin tonight at Chester Cathedral. And Gamal caught up with the director, John Young, during rehearsals and asked how he was feeling.
Excited, buoyant, scared, tired, but mainly excited. We're kind of in the last stretch now. So we had our first technical rehearsal last night, which was great to start seeing the show with some of the elements that are ready.
How would you define mystery plays?
So the mystery plays are the stories of the Bible, which originated being, dragged through the streets of Chester on the back of carts, as a way of educating the people on the stories of the Bible, and I suppose have transitioned and grown into this massive community event that happens in Chester every 5 years, where a community of people come from Chester, from Wales, from Liverpool, from the local area, and they all come together to tell stories. And I think what's really extraordinary about this is this group of people would never ever be in the same room. They just wouldn't be together, and there's 200 of them. There's 200 people, and then there's another, couple of hundred who are making costumes, making props, helping design, elements of the show. But it's a real mixed bag, and I think it's really joyous to see all of those people interacting and mingling and forming friendships and forming relationships and having conversations that they just wouldn't have. And I think it's really beautiful, actually.
With all of that in mind, I guess this puts quite a lot of pressure on you, given the fact that this is something that takes place once every 5 years. It's steeped in history. It's an event that dates back to the Middle Ages. There's also a historical legacy for you and your team to uphold.
I was given the stories and I had to work out how I wanted to tell them. We've got a stage that runs down the centre of the cathedral.
And that's different to previous years?
Yeah, so in previous years it's been what you'd call end on. So it gives the audience a sense of being immersed into the world. So there are moments where you are that close away from Jesus. There are moments where you're that close away from God. There's a moment where Judas is talking to you.
Given that this has been in the planning, in the making for the best part of 4 years, as you were saying. I just wonder, what effect the pandemic would have had on people, because I'm guessing, if you've got something to focus on, whether you're making props or you're making the costumes, in many ways that can be a lifeline to people.
Yeah, and I think it has, and I think, there are still lots of people who are only really now kind of getting back to normal, whatever that means. But I definitely think what this has done is I think it's made people realise how important these things are. Those sound effects, by the way, are creation, which is the biggest sound you can ever imagine. But I think sitting in a room full of people who have all come together to tell a story, and we've all, accepted an invitation to sit there and watch those stories, I think is really special. And I think, one of the things that we realised when COVID happened and we couldn't do that was how special and important that is for all of us to, come together and be and listen and, experience something at the same time. This year we've got a lot of people who have never done it before, which is great because this is this really vibrant, fresh energy. But amongst that, we've also got lots of people who have never been on stage before. And I think going back to the question about COVID, I think that's probably given people I think we've all gone, why not? Why not? Let's take the opportunities.
It's an exciting prospect, a big project, so I can understand the pressure that you and the team must be feeling. Wishing you the very best. John Youngs, thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Stunning setting
Isn't
there
it just,
in Chester.
Yeah. Now, the weather, especially for those heading to Lytham and to Chester. Here's Kerry.
Why do I need a shower? I've been out in the rain.
The faster you go, the sooner you'll be out. You'll save water too.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Hello, a very good evening to you. It's not been the best couple of days across the northwest, has it? Fairly cloudy skies across most parts of the region today. Showers followed by longer spells of rain, just limited amounts of brightness. But of course, the rain great for gardeners and growers, and it keeps the UK green. As we head through into the next couple of days, it does start to get a little bit better. We've got a weather front during the course of this evening pushing away. It will freshen things up for tomorrow. Still a westerly flow, so there will be showers or longer spells of rain at times, but moving through quite quickly, and either side clear or sunny spells mixed in with fairly breezy conditions. So for this evening, the front does continue its journey eastwards, and it does become a lot drier and a lot clearer and a lot fresher as the night progresses. So into the early hours of tomorrow morning, clear skies towards dawn for many, and those temperatures a good 5 degrees lower than last night's temperature, so certainly a fresher start as we head towards dawn. Absolutely love this shot. A view with a brew. A big thank you to Tony for sharing. 4:43 and 9:45 are your sun times as we head into tomorrow. Great start, plenty of sunshine if you're up nice and early, but the cloud will bubble up and the showers will get going during late morning and into the afternoon, but very hit and miss. Many places will escape with a good dose of sunshine. Yes, a fresher feel, temperatures average at best, but if you can get out of that western northwesterly breeze, it will feel fairly pleasant. Along the coastline, and especially for the Isle of Man, probably staying dry for much of the day. Clear skies as we head through into tomorrow night, and then a dry start probably on Friday, but we are expecting the cloud to build, showers to work their way in by the end of the day.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Hello, summer. Piri sponsors ITV pollen count.
With the showers and rain today, the grass pollen counts have been moderate, and they will continue to do so under showers over the next few days, but where we get the drier and brighter conditions up to high. Take care, see you soon.
Kerry, thank you, and you can keep up to date as ever on our website itv.com/Granada.
Great to have your company tonight. Hope to see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.